Hello everyone, this is Lisa Foster from fosteringcreativitytogether.com, and today I'd like to share a few tips with you for assembly line stamping. This is the Christmas card that I'm going to be demonstrating today, so let's get started. First, we'd like to cut our cardstock. This includes scoring and folding our card bases, which is the blue there on the left. This also ensures that we have enough supplies to complete our project. So we'll set these aside, and next we'll do our big shot work. So I have the magnetic base plate here along with the precision base plate on the top, and I'm going to cut the star from the center of the silver cardstock. This is because we're only going to be seeing the edges on our card of this silver cardstock, so this helps us save some by cutting the center out. So I'm going to just run this through the big shot, and here we have our star cut out, and as you can see there's plenty of room around the edges for our border. I've also gone ahead and cut out the blue base for the star. So now our big shot work is complete. Next we're going to do our gluing. This will allow the glue time to dry before we assemble our card. I have the star, and I found that this is the easiest way to put glue onto intricate dies. Now I'm just using a regular sponge here. You can use packing tape or packing material or anything that's shiny. It happens to be a craft mat that I'm using. And I'm taking my sponge and just lightly dabbing it into the glue, and then I'm going to lightly dab it on the back of our star. You don't need much because this is a very sticky adhesive. And the wonderful thing about glue is that it gives you a little wiggle room. So in case you don't get it placed exactly perfect the first time, you have a little bit of time to move it around and get it where you want it. You can see that I'm doing that here. And if you don't get it placed precisely on there, that's okay. The blue is meant to be a shadow, so it will look just fine. And should you get a little glue on the front, go ahead and just buff it off with a soft cloth. Next, we're going to do our stamping. So I'm bringing out the pieces that we're going to stamp on. We have the front of our card, we have the inside of our card, and we also have our white envelope. I'm using Night of Navy ink, and we're going to be using stamps from His Light and Star of Light stamp sets from Stampin' Up. So let's do the front piece of our card. This is the inside, and again this is the envelope. We'll set those aside for now, and we're going to go ahead and bring in our first stamp, which is from the Star of Light. Ink that up well, and since this is a photopolymer stamp, sometimes it's a good idea to go ahead and put a foam pad underneath for even application. I haven't done that here and I don't seem to have a problem, but it is also another tip for you. Now the sentiment that I'm going to be using next is from His Light, which is new this year in the 2018 holiday catalog. And I'm inking it up well, and I'm placing down and stamping. Now you can use a stamp positioner for this, but I've chosen just to use these regular acrylic blocks. So now that the front is stamped, we're going to move on to stamping the inside of our card. Rather than just putting a plain sentiment, I always think it's nice to put something decorative inside. So we're going to use this matching star and place that down on the inside of our card, as well as our Merry Christmas sentiment, which are both from Star of Light. Now I'm coming in with our Merry Christmas stamp. The reason that I have it there mounted on an angle is because of the prism effect on the sides of the block. Kind of throw me off a little bit, and by mounting it there diagonal, it's easier for me to see to stamp straight. So now we have lots of room at the bottom to write something and plenty of room at the top to write our recipient's name. Now here I just have a plain white envelope, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to decorate the outside of the envelope, stamping this in the lower left-hand corner. This way that we have plenty of room for our recipient's name. I'm going to put our return address there on the back flap, and we have plenty of room for the postage at the top right. Always be sure that you never stamp in the top right area. The post office doesn't like that very much. Okay, now we have our stamping done. We're going to line everything up in the order that we're going to assemble it. So we have our card bases, and this is our silver foil cardstock here that I'm adding adhesive to, or attempting to. I'm having a little mishap here. Fast Fuse, it likes to do that sometimes. Okay, now we're on a roll. I'm just placing this on our card base. Be sure that you place it down very well. And press firm by pressing firmly. And now we're going to add our stamped piece. Lining up the borders there carefully and going ahead, placing that down and pressing firmly again. Okay, that part is done. Now we're going to go ahead and place the inside portion. Another option is to go ahead and sign your cards before you put them in, before you put the inside in, if you would like. I usually put the cards together and then sign them, but it's up to you. These are your cards and you do them the way that you want. Okay, now we're going to add our star. Our glue is completely dry, and I'm going to just pop this up on a couple of dimensionals. And place that right on the front. And we'll repeat this process until we get all of our cards assembled. Okay, now that card is done, our envelope is ready to go, and we can stack it, set it aside, and move on to the next card until we've completed all of our cards. It took me roughly 15 minutes to make these 4 cards using this method. So it's easy to do it this way, and I hope that this tip has helped you for assembling your cards quickly and efficiently. I have a couple of other tips that I'd like to share with you. One is enlist some family and friends to help you. Make it a party. Sit around the table and laugh and talk and put your cards together. I'm sure that you will find lots of willing participants. One more option I'd like to share with you here is you can purchase pre-cut and matching envelopes. These happen to be from Stamping Up in the 2018 holiday catalog. They're called foiled edged cards, and you can simply take them. Here all I've done is I've done some simple embossing with silver embossing powder, and see what a lovely elegant card that makes. This would work great for wedding cards or wedding invitations, as well as baby cards. The possibilities are unlimited. So I hope that I've helped you today with your assembly line stamping. The important thing is to enjoy the process, have fun, and think of how much your recipients will love your cards. Happy crafting!